where I'm at, the price of life, I grew up at, the price of life is cheap. So if you got the money, if you got the bag, it's gonna happen. When you drop it, it's a go.
Like, after 50 did what he did, like 50 ain't back down. 50 was banging out and I know 50 was whooping him ass, because 50 is a big box in that. So I know he was tearing some.
So, 50 Cent owes a lot to G-Unit for his success, but let's not forget how his rough past spilled over into the group's vibe. People believe that Fiddy's street cred and his knack for managing things definitely rubbed off on G-Unit. They weren't just about the music. They got into their fair share of beefs with other artists thanks to 50's reputation and his no-nonsense attitude. The whole saga of 50 Cent and G-Unit is a wild ride, full of drama and ongoing feuds showing how much 50's shady history shaped the crew's journey. Since his unforgettable debut with In Da Club, the music video back in 2003, 50 Cent has remained a heavyweight in hip-hop. While you might not hear his tracks blasting in every mall like they used to, he's still got a massive fan base and stacks of cash to his name. Besides his music, he's dipped his toes into clothing lines, merch, movies, and even boxing promotion. But let's not forget the road to success wasn't exactly smooth sailing for the guy from Queens.
I don't know whether you call G-Unit the ultimate rap crew or you say G-Unit is the only rap group in hip-hop culture.
From a young age, 50 Cent had to tough it out in some seriously rough conditions, and that grit stayed with him as he grew up. He faced bullying, got caught up in trouble as a teen, and even survived a near-fatal shooting as an adult. Not many folks came out swinging after being thrown into such tough situations, but 50 did, and he's fully aware of the mystique that's built up around him because of it. He's almost like a legend in the hip-hop world, with his past traumas adding to his enigmatic appeal.
Why would you care about a person who would like you to see under the worst circumstances you could be under?
Growing up in poverty, neglect, and surrounded by drugs, 50 Cent faced more tragedy by the age of 8 than most people do in a lifetime. Losing his mom at such a young age left a deep emotional scar that he's been open about discussing. He once told Spin magazine, quote, "After my mom passed, everything that went wrong because she wasn't there. If I wanted to go to the park and it would start drizzling, it was happening because my mom wasn't there." To cope, he found refuge in his grandparents' basement, where he admitted to Oprah Winfrey that he was trying to escape from dealing with people and his grief, unable to talk about it with anyone.
I lost my mom when I was like 8, so I didn't really understand at that point, but later, like, they would consistently say, "Oh, well, you know, she's not coming back," and I'm like, "Yeah, she is."
On top of losing his mom, 50 Cent grew up without knowing who his father was. The identity of his biological father remains a mystery, with 50 himself saying he has no interest in ever meeting the man. It's a part of his life story that's shrouded in uncertainty, adding another layer to the already complex narrative of his upbringing.
You know, some people have that thing where they actually want that parent that they haven't had in their life. You know, the mistakes that I made early on, Larry, he could have been there to help me not make those mistakes.
Damn right.
At the age of 12, 50 Cent began dealing crack on the streets, inspired by seeing the financial freedom it brought to those around him. He concealed this activity from his grandparents by lying about being in an after-school program. Despite a troubled relationship with his mother, her unconventional profession afforded him a relatively comfortable lifestyle. However, her death forced him into a harsh reality of poverty with his grandparents, where luxuries became scarce. Feeling the need to maintain his accustomed lifestyle, he turned to hustling to afford the things he desired. This dual life led him to compartmentalize his identity, going between a dealer by day and a grandparent's child by night.
I mean, everybody around my way sold drugs. Like 50, which we call him Boo Boo, like he jumped off the porch, I would say at 12 years old.
Reflecting on his past, 50 Cent acknowledges the emotional toll of his childhood trauma, which manifests in struggles with anger and vulnerability. He admits to a lack of emotional expression, feeling stuck in an adolescent state emotionally. Despite the moral complexity of his actions, he dismisses feelings of guilt or regret, viewing hustling as the only viable option in a harsh and unforgiving world. Quote, "It doesn't seem like one of the options, it seems like the only option," he asserts, highlighting his determination to provide for himself by any means necessary. Later in his life, 50 Cent faced legal repercussions for his involvement in dealing. At one point, he was arrested for selling drugs and ceased hiding his activities, leading to trouble with the law. This pattern continued when, at the age of 19, he was arrested twice within 3 weeks for selling cocaine to an undercover officer. Subsequent police investigation revealed a cache of various drugs and a firearm in his possession. As a consequence, he was incarcerated, prompting a profound realization that it was time for him to make a change in his life.
He was always ahead because he was 12 years old. And I remember like going to the block and seeing him with the high-riser ring, little the rhinestone jacket.
In light of this pivotal moment, he adopted the moniker 50 Cent as a symbolic representation of transformation and renewal. And when he meant renewal, he meant a music brand. G-Unit was a musical group formed by 50 Cent himself. The group first garnered a following in the underground New York scene by independently releasing several mixtapes. 50 Cent officially brought the group mainstream success by establishing it as a division at Interscope Records. Since signing to the label, G-Unit's members have released solo albums.
At one point, we were screaming G-Unit.
Yeah.
You know, what goes on with G-Unit now?
Well, people grow. They grow.
Yeah.
It's grown men. Like, everybody went to their different directions.
G-Unit was founded shortly after 50 Cent left Columbia Records. The original members were 50 Cent, Bang'em Smurf, Domination, Lloyd Banks, Shamani XL, and Tony Yayo. These rappers collectively established the group as a whole in 2000. However, after Yayo got a prison sentence, 50 Cent signed Young Buck and along with himself and Banks became the three faces of G-Unit. Smurf and Domination left the group due to some problems with the general, 50 Cent.
Smurf, yeah, look. That's my baby. You understand what I'm saying? Smurf is my baby boy. He's upset and he get confused. When he get confused, you know what he do? He get angry.
Since their formation in 2002, 50 Cent and his G-Unit crew have consistently faced and engaged in conflicts within the hip-hop community. Whether through verbal sparring or physical altercations, they've never shied away from confrontation. Members like Lloyd Banks and Tony Yayo have been involved in notable brawls, while others such as Game and Young Buck have also found themselves in heated situations. The incident occurred during the Bet Hip Hop Awards, where G-Unit clashed with gunplay associated with Rick Ross. While details are murky, there are rumors, including suggestions from G-Unit affiliate Kid Kid, hinting at G-Unit's involvement in the altercation. Speculations even extended to a confrontation between 50 Cent and Diddy backstage. Despite the buzz surrounding the incident, 50 Cent has remained relatively silent, possibly because such drama has become routine for him and his crew. So the first feud under G-Unit was 50 Cent versus Ja Rule. In a 2000 MTV special, Ja Rule was interviewed by Louis Farrakhan regarding his feud with 50 Cent. Ja recounted a brawl he had with 50 in Atlanta where he confronted 50 and expressed his disdain for his style. According to Ja, 50 punched him, initiating a physical altercation during which Ja retaliated. This incident, as Ja described it, marked the official beginning of their beef, escalating it beyond verbal sparring to physical confrontation.
You and your crew beat up 50 Cent in Atlanta. How does the story go?
Absolutely. I see him in Atlanta, a mutual friend of ours named Chad.
The feud between 50 Cent and Ja Rule began in '99 when Ja Rule was robbed at gunpoint by one of 50 Cent's associates during a music video shoot. This incident escalated tensions between them. Despite 50 Cent's denial of involvement, their animosity grew.
I knew the dude who robbed him. You know, from the environment we in our hood, I know him. You know, so, and he's seen us in the club and he's seen us, you know, me smiling, kicking it with him regular.
In 2000, a confrontation at an Atlanta club further fueled the feud. 50 Cent released Life's on the Line, a diss track aimed at Ja Rule, which intensified the conflict. Ja Rule retaliated by visiting 50 Cent's recording session in New York City, resulting in a physical altercation where 50 Cent was stabbed.
So we get to talking. The talk got heated because I got mad and I started screaming at him and telling him that. And so he swings at me. He caught me a little bit, you know what I'm saying? But I dipped it and then hit him with the bat. Boom!
The feud reached its peak with 50 Cent's release of Wanksta in 2002, a scathing diss track targeting Ja Rule. In interviews, 50 Cent criticized Ja Rule's credibility as a gangster, questioning his lack of financial success despite portraying a gangster image.
I think Ja felt like I was his peer because we both wrote music and was willing to compete with me.
In the aftermath of their explosive encounter in Atlanta, tensions between 50 Cent and Ja Rule escalated. Matters took a darker turn when 50 Cent was confronted by Black Child, a member of M Inc., and his associates outside the Hit Factory studio in NYC. During the altercation, 50 Cent was assaulted and stabbed by Black Child. Numerous accounts suggested the involvement of Irv Gotti Lorenzo and his brother Christopher.
50's like someone was trying to kill him and this and that. He was bleeding. He said, take my car, go to the hospital.
Following the incident, 50 Cent received medical treatment for 3 stitches and eventually recovered from his injuries. Black Child later confessed to being responsible, claiming self-defense as he believed someone was reaching for a weapon.
It's like 5 of us and 5 of them and is getting it on and fighting and boxing. Know what I mean? So I started poking straight up and down.
In 03, 50 Cent and Onyx's Fredro Starr crossed paths through Jam Master Jay, who facilitated 50 Cent's studio sessions with Onyx. Eventually, 50 Cent contributed to an Onyx track called React. Fredro Starr had a theory regarding the origins of their conflict. Allegedly, during Onyx's tour, they continued performing React and enlisted Scarred for Life to perform 50 Cent's verse. When the tour reached NYC, Onyx invited 50 Cent to join them at the Apollo to perform his verse. However, Scarred for Life ended up delivering 50 Cent's verse, stealing the spotlight from him.
His image just came up. You know, after he was here, he was talking and just talked himself into a bad situation. Because the timelines didn't even work. And he had previously been to the show to say it did happen.
Subsequently, 50 Cent targeted Onyx's Sticky Fingers in various mixtapes, including the notorious How to Rob. Tensions culminated at the rehearsal for the 2003 Vibe Awards when Fredro, seeing 50 Cent and his G-Unit crew near the stage, approached to make amends. However, 50 Cent unexpectedly swung at him, sparking a physical altercation. After the incident, communication between the two ceased thereafter.
It wasn't even like that. We didn't have no intentions to hurt nobody or intentions to do anything wrong to a nigga, even though your man Ty always stay with that thing on him. It wasn't on that. We was on some love shit.
Then, during the 04 Vibe Awards, Young Buck found himself embroiled in a brawl. At the event, Jimmy James Johnson, a 26-year-old from Los Angeles, approached Dr. Dre, initially seeking an autograph. However, for reasons unknown, Johnson ended up punching Dre in the face, sparking a chaotic altercation. In the ensuing scuffle, Buck and 2 others stabbed Johnson.
One of the G-Unit members somebody, a G whoop, and I'm like, nah, bro. With me, I had a fork. You know what I'm saying? But shit, man.
Johnson sustained a stab wound to the chest, resulting in a collapsed lung. He received medical treatment and eventually recovered. Buck faced charges of assault with a deadly weapon, though he managed to negotiate a plea deal down to a no-contest plea for assault within the possibility of causing bodily harm. Buck's defense claimed he had wielded a fork rather than a knife, an assertion met with skepticism, especially considering his choice of attire shortly after the incident.
And I went back to 50 and told 50, you know what I'm saying, I needed to get up out of town real quick, you know what I'm saying, because I had that fork. And it was one of them things.
In March 05, G-Unit, led by 50 Cent, was indeed a dominant force in hip-hop. And Interscope executives Jimmy Iovine and Dr. Dre were keen on expanding the group's roster by adding West Coast rapper The Game. The Game's addition was aimed at bolstering G-Unit's strength further. Following the release of his debut album, The Documentary, in 2005, rumors began circulating about tension between The Game and 50 Cent.
And so we went up there, they wouldn't let us in, and so we got into, you know, some shit with his entourage and his security, and shots were fired.
In a 2005 interview with Vibe magazine, 50 Cent responded to The Game's claim that they occasionally engaged in shoving matches. When asked about such conflicts within G-Unit, 50 Cent acknowledged that clashes were primarily between him and The Game. He attributed these conflicts to The Game's strong opinion and relative inexperience in the industry, implying that The Game needed to learn to listen more as he was still relatively new compared to the rest of the group. He said, quote, "Only between me and him, he's real opinionated. He hasn't been around long enough to know that he needs to listen. Everybody else knows that." In February 05, 50 Cent and G-Unit made an appearance at Hot 97 with intentions to part ways with Game from the crew. 50 Cent expressed his sentiments to Funkmaster Flex, citing Game's perceived disloyalty, particularly his reluctance to engage in the ongoing conflicts. However, the interview was abruptly interrupted by a shootout that erupted outside the radio station involving Game and his associates. The altercation concluded with Game retreating after one of his associates, Kevin Reed, sustained a gunshot wound to the left leg.
We was hiding behind trash trucks and shooting back, and it was just a whole shootout outside of Hot 97 that got us banned and changed the way that Hot 97 does interviews, I think, to this day.
In February 2006, tensions escalated during the filming of Busta Rhymes' highly anticipated video shoot for the Touch It remix featuring Lloyd Banks of G-Unit. Tony Yayo, a member of G-Unit, found himself embroiled in a verbal altercation with renowned producer Swizz Beatz and individuals from the Rough Riders camp. Tragically, the dispute escalated into gunfire, resulting in the tragic death of Busta Rhymes security personnel Israel Ramirez.
Was the Touch It remix, is that where the shooting happened?
Yes.
Aha. Yes, the video.
Yeah, you guys are shooting the music video for Touch It Remix.
Eyewitnesses reported that Yayo engaged in provocative behavior, directing insults towards Swizz Beatz, as well as Darren D. Dean and Joaquin Wah Dean, the CEOs of Rough Riders Entertainment. While Yayo was not directly implicated in the shooting, it was speculated that a confrontation that originated at the video shoot extended onto the streets. Outside the venue, a physical altercation erupted, culminating in an unidentified assailant firing multiple shots, one of which fatally struck Ramirez. Despite efforts to save him, Ramirez succumbed to his injuries upon arrival at a Brooklyn hospital. In the aftermath of the incident, witnesses recounted Yayo expressing remorse and attempting to diffuse tensions by apologizing to Busta Rhymes, assuring him that he did not intend to escalate the situation. The shooting sparked widespread controversy and raised concerns about safety and security in the entertainment industry. In February 2007, despite parting ways in 2005, tensions between Game and G-Unit remained palpable. At a party hosted by T.I. and Young Jeezy during NBA All-Star Weekend in Vegas, Game found himself in the same venue as Young Buck, a former member of G-Unit. During the event, a video clip captured the moment when Young Buck took the stage to energize the crowd. Meanwhile, Game and his entourage were observed moving towards the stage as Buck began to address them. Fortunately, security intervened swiftly, diffusing the escalating situation, as it was evident that tensions were running high and the potential for a confrontation was imminent. In 2007, a disturbing incident unfolded involving Tony Yayo and his entourage confronting Jimmy Henchman's 14-year-old son as he made his way towards the Czar Entertainment offices. According to multiple reports, Yayo and his associates allegedly surrounded the boy and subjected him to physical violence, purportedly because of his association with the management company representing Game, a former member of G-Unit.
And the gun went off in the car. So as the gun went off in the car, I guess it jammed and they backed out of what they wanted to do.
Subsequently, Yayo faced legal repercussions and was arrested on charges of harassment and endangering the welfare of a child. However, through the efforts of his attorney, Scott Lehman, Yayo's charges were eventually dismissed as part of a plea deal, resulting in a lesser non-criminal harassment charge. He was sentenced to only 10 days of community service without serving any jail time.
Every shooter that Henchman had told on him. Like his driver, when he shot up the crib, he told on him.
Meanwhile, G-Unit member Lowell Lodi Mac Fletcher admitted to assaulting Henchman's son and received a 9-month prison sentence. Tragically, just 2 weeks after his release from prison, Lodi Mac was fatally shot in the Bronx. Jimmy Henchman was later implicated in his M, adding another layer of tragedy and complexity to the already grim situation.
Everybody that he had to do dirt with him told on him. So people glorify the street and make the street like, nah, the best thing is to make your money and get out the streets.
And that's not the only beef involving the rapper and his people. In April 2008, the once close friendship between 50 Cent and Floyd Mayweather Jr. hit a rough patch when they found themselves embroiled in a physical altercation during a celebrity basketball event in Michigan. Mayweather, renowned as one of boxing's top pound-for-pound fighters, reportedly exchanged blows with 50 Cent during the event.
Are you and Floyd okay? Was there any truth to you and him fighting at all?
Yeah, we got into a little thing, but that's me. Like, you know what it is? Because we both real physical.
In an interview with Hot 97's Miss Jones, 50 Cent disclosed that he initiated the altercation by putting his hands in Mayweather's face. In a reflex action, Mayweather retaliated by throwing a punch. When questioned about the cause of the altercation, 50 Cent explained that it stemmed from an argument over a bet between them.
I'll put my hands in his face. You see what I'm saying?
For what?
And it's a reflex for him to throw a punch. You see what I'm saying? So as soon as I put my hands in his face, like.
When asked about the outcome of the scuffle, 50 Cent expressed confidence, stating Floyd's no longer undefeated. This response fueled speculation about the altercation's winner, adding another layer of intrigue to the incident between the once inseparable friends. In January 2010, Chris Hines, a seasoned figure in the music industry known for organizing events and gatherings, arranged a show featuring Lloyd Banks at Club NV in Ontario, Canada. However, Banks arrived a staggering 90 minutes late, expressing dissatisfaction upon finding the venue only partially filled. In a surprising turn of events, Banks abruptly halted his performance and departed for his hotel.
They're saying that Lloyd said that you refused to pay him, that's why he acted so crazy?
No, he wasn't. He was like, there's a little bit more to the story.
The following morning, Hines reported a disturbing incident involving Banks and his companions Sean McGee, Tyrell Cooper, and Nicholas Sloan. Allegedly, they forcibly entered Hines' room, where they proceeded to physically assault and rob him, leaving him visibly injured. The altercation purportedly stemmed from a dispute over Banks' payment and the question of whether he should have reimbursed an undisclosed fee. In May 2011, tensions between G-Unit affiliate 40 Glock and Black Wall Street member Compton Menace escalated into a physical altercation during the Cage vs. Cons event at the LA Sports Arena in Los Angeles. Video footage captured the Black Wall Street member, accompanied by several others, engaging in a confrontation with 40 Glock. While the exact trigger for the altercation remains unclear, numerous sources suggest that it was rooted in their affiliations with rival gangs, the Bloods and Crips. Following the incident, Compton Menace spoke to All Hip Hop, asserting that 40 Glock's provocative behavior warranted a response. He stated that 40 Glock was running his mouth and needed to be taught a lesson. According to Compton Menace, the altercation served as a means to assert dominance and deter further disrespect. He concluded by remarking that 40 Glock no longer boasted about his actions and warned others against engaging in similar behavior. In 2012, an altercation occurred on the streets of Los Angeles involving 40 Glock and members of Game's crew. According to 40 Glock, he was approached by Game's associates who were armed with iPhones, and they proceeded to physically assault him. Allegedly, Game and his Black Wall Street camp brandished firearms during the incident, preventing 40 Glock from defending himself and prompting him to flee for safety.
Let him get up, and once he get up, I just took off. I knocked him back down. The first blow must have been vicious because he's still down.
It's remarkable to think that amidst the conflicts, there's speculation that 50 Cent may have been managing the group. Nevertheless, his supporters argue that over time, 50 has matured, a perspective bolstered by his success as an entrepreneur. One person on the internet wrote, quote, "Crazy how 50 ran things and managed to leave it behind and not get stuck in the hood." One more person added, quote, "That's why 50 is able to move in the music entertainment industry like he does. He knows he's the genuine article and every other rapper isn't." Despite his evolution, there were viral incidents where 50 Cent's behavior seemed to echo his street origins, a dynamic that may have extended to G-Unit as well.